Hey everybody, welcome to the weekly news recap, weekly news update, whatever. I don't even know what to call this show, but anyway. We're going to be looking at the news for 26th of April to the 2nd of May 2021. So let's make the screen big. No massive big news thing that I normally lead with, but we're just going to jump straight into updates and stuff. So this is from a recent state of play that Sony did just for Ratchet and Clank, the new Rift Apart, the new PS5 Ratchet and Clank, where they showed off a bunch of gameplay, their new character Rivet, who you can see there, who is a female Ratchet, basically. So now it's Ratchet, or Rivet and Clank. There's like a bracket around which one you want to be. You can be Rivet or Ratchet. You can play as both characters during the game. They swap around between them. Clank appears to be spending most of his time with the new character, so I guess Ratchet will probably get some new abilities and stuff, and Rivet will probably play more like classic Ratchet, I would think. I don't know. This is all just this is just the state of play itself. Went on for about 20 minutes. It's only 16 minutes in this video, but there were some stuff at the beginning of it where they made some announcements, which we'll talk about a bit later on in the show. This is all cutscene stuff, which all looks really impressive. It didn't look great on the kind of sort of live thing they were doing with State of Play, just because it was live. Obviously, if you have the time to wait for things to buffer and such, things end up looking better. If you happen to have a 4K TV, you could possibly look at this on YouTube. YouTube 4K, if you have a Chromecast, 4K Chromecast or whatever. Gameplay? I mean, this is all gameplay. What I really mean is shooty part. This is why I should watch these videos beforehand. Anyway, it's 16 minutes. You can go check it out yourself, I suppose. We'll move on. Some other small updates now. Predator Hunting Grounds coming to Steam. So it's interesting here. No particular interest in Predator Hunting Grounds. I would like to ever see a proper single-player Predator game again. That would be nice, because he's got so much shit going for him. He could so easily fit into the Batman Arkham style game. He could so easily fit in there. He's got all those gadgets. He's about being stealthy and shit. I really don't understand how it hasn't happened. Again, it has happened. There was Predator Concrete Jungle, I think. I can't think of any other single-player Predator game since. Or before, I think about it. But interesting here in that Sony are the publishers behind Predator Hunting Grounds, and they're bringing the game to Steam. So that's yet again another Sony property that's being brought to PC. Now, it's not like a first-party title. They just did the publishing work behind it, but still, it's interesting that Sony are seeing PC as a secondary option to get more people involved and get more people buying their games, I guess. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection is coming to the other consoles now. It has been on Steam for a while, but now it's coming to the PlayStations and the Xboxes and the PCs, I believe. This is a remastering of the original Ghouls and Ghosts. Still rock hard. It's always been considered a really, really hard game. The speedruns of this are insane if you ever get a chance to look at them, especially if you've ever played the game and know how ridiculously hard it is. But yeah, if you want a punishingly really difficult game, feel free to check that out. It will be coming to PS4 and PS5 backwards compatibility, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series backwards compatibility on June 1st. Nintendo randomly adds online multiplayer to Super Mario Party. The game came out 3 years ago. But it has online now for whatever reason. Something to point out about the online and how it works. It's not particularly great. You need to, if you happen to be playing the game local co-op and you decide, or even playing single player, and you decide you want to open it up to multiplayer, you actually have to turn the whole game off and relaunch it. So it's it needs the sync at the beginning, which is something emulators do, and you would sort of expect an established video game company like Nintendo to have something better than the complete hack and workaround that emulators used to do multiplayer. You would have kind of expected it, but whatever. If you're still playing Super Mario Party and you want to lose friends remotely now instead, I guess you can do that. It's surprising they didn't do this like right at the beginning of lockdown stuff, but whatever. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order coming to current next gen, whatever way we're talking about the PS5 and the series is. Free cross-gen upgrade, which is nice. So if you already own the game, you can get a free upgrade, and it's mostly just technical improvements and a boost to like. Does it even do that? I think it's just like we fixed some bugs, and also we're gonna put it on the next, or make it available for the next gen. I don't think they make any mention of adapting things for the PS5's haptics, the DualSense. I don't think they make any mention of that. But again, they have more details coming soon kind of thing. So this is just them saying, yeah, it's coming. We don't have anything to say about it right now. Housemarque says, we hear the community. It's Returnal players call for saving quit options. So why is this in updates and not in industry bullshit? The game kind of just came out. So I guess, I don't know, it could equally be in either. The issue here is that Returnal is a roguelike, so it's about doing runs and dying and starting again, dying and starting again. And again, you get better as you go. That's how the roguelike thing works. The issue here is that Returnal runs are quite long. They can go on for a good while, even if you're dying a lot. Runs tend to go for like an hour plus, which is kind of rare for roguelikes. Most roguelikes are under an hour, like 40 minutes ish, like a good run. Obviously you can die immediately and it's like a couple of seconds run, but if you're getting into it and you've been playing for a while, the runs tend to go that length. Like a Hades run from start to finish is about 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so. Whereas Returnal ones end up going for like 2 hours before you end up dying. This because it has moments where you're not fighting, you're like taking in story or whatever, story changes. And that wouldn't normally be an issue, but the problem is the game has no save and quit. Like the vast majority of any game that has permadeath or hardcore mode or something like that usually has a save and quit option, where you have the one save, you don't really have any access to it. You save and then you quit the game, and when you load back in, the save's deleted. It doesn't have any of that. I guess the idea is you can use the PS5's rest mode, but the PS5's rest mode isn't great. There are certain launch consoles where it just doesn't work properly. You could come back in and the game will be sluggish as fuck after rest mode, after suspend, that kind of thing. They are working on it, like some patches to the console, to the firmware have made it better, but it does happen. Also, you can't always just suspend your console. You know, it's eating electricity. You have an electricity bill to pay, and so on. There really should be an option for a save and quit or something like that if they want to keep the roguelike nature of it. I realized I should have clicked a video while I was just talking at a screen, but sorry, probably should have done that. Anyway, I'm not a professional. Okay. Fall Guys for Switch and Xbox has been delayed. It was originally supposed to launch summer. Don't know now. But they are working on crossplay for Switch and Xbox. Another announcement that was made in the State of Play with Ratchet and Clank was that it's also coming to PlayStation at some point. So it's possible that this pushback is so they can all release all at the same time and get the crossplay working with Sony as well. Probably not, because Sony just doesn't fucking like doing crossplay for whatever reason. It's kind of annoying. Anyway, if you were waiting for Fall Guys on console, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Lost Soul Aside decides to remind people that it exists, so you may or may not have forgotten Lost Soul Aside. This is a game that was kind of like a trailer thing that came out when Final Fantasy 15 was announced or released, possibly 2016, and this guy made a fan trailer for it, and it looked really, really impressive. Like, just one dude made some super impressive shit. And that started a big bidding war with different publishers, different first-party console makers. Were all like, "Oh, we want you to make this game for us, so you can have lots of money." So that's what happened, and it was meant to be. Ended up being Sony got the publishing rights for it. It was going to be a PS4 exclusive, 2018, 2019 launch. That didn't happen. It's 2021. But you haven't heard of the game since. Holy shit, this game looks good. Anyway, it's come back to release this bit of gameplay footage to just go, hey, game still exists. Be hype for it, and we'll have some stuff to show. Maybe at some stage. Wow. Anyway, the link to I can't just watch this. I have a show to do. I have a link to this in the comments if you wanna check it out, or just type Lost Soul Aside gameplay in. Pause me, go watch that, come back, please. Okay, Resident Evil Reverse or Resident Evil Anniversary verse, whatever, delayed. So it's not going to be coming out with Resident Evil Village as it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be a free bonus game that came with the game, which is obviously not going to happen now for whatever reason. If you happen to be one of those people who was actually waiting for the game, I've seen a couple of outlets doing like gameplay run-throughs of these little matches and stuff. Looks kind of crap, honestly. But whatever. If you were hyped for it, you gotta wait. You gotta wait until summer. That could be anywhere. Could be soon enough, possibly. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Winds of Ruin has a release date now. So Monster Hunter Stories, if you're not familiar, it's not actually like Monster Hunter at all. It's a lot closer to something like Pokemon. I'm wondering now if there's actually gameplay in this trailer, which there might not be. But basically you can befriend the monsters from Monster Hunter and fight alongside them against other monsters in a sort of Pokemon, sort of JRPG turn-based thing. It's a lot friendlier than typical Monster Hunter, and it's aimed at a different kind of demographic, but it's fun. Monster Hunter Stories 1 was really interesting. I never played it myself, but from what I've seen of it, looked really interesting, and I'd be interested to play this just because I'm sort of getting into the Monster Hunter thing now. This came out when Capcom had an event recently to kind of show off some stuff for Monster Hunter Ruin. I should have just kept going with that. Monster Hunter Ruin? Monster Hunter Rise. And Monster Hunter Stories, Wings of Ruin is what I really meant. Where they showed off some footage and they showed off some new stuff for Monster Hunter Rise. And this was a part of it. Demo for Nintendo's Avatar themed RPG Miitopia is now available on Switch. This is more of a PSA. There's a demo for Miitopia if you want to check it out. Miitopia is a sort of randomized game. You build your Miis, and ostensibly they're supposed to be you, but you can make them look like whatever, make them look like your friends, make them look like celebrities, make them look like me if you can pull it off, make them look like other video game characters. And then there's just sort of random shenanigans happen in the game. This one has a sort of loosely based JRPG, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest thing going on with it. It's really like streamer fodder in that I could definitely see a lot of streamers playing this game and just like putting silly characters into it, like people in their chat or maybe other people they stream with themselves, celebrities, whatever, and just having a laugh with their chat, with their community on funny shit. I don't have a community or a chat, so I won't be doing that, but anyway. And then lastly, Konami pull out Game Strong for Konami E3 2021, but insists has key projects in works. Yeah, sure, fucking does. Again, this is that's it. That's kind of the story. There's some stuff here about things that Konami may or may not be working on, like Metal Gear Survive, something with Contra. They do have the Getsu Fumiden thing that was announced at the Switch Indie Showcase last week. So they do have that. It's strange that they probably feel that they don't have enough, maybe, to show. Thing is, Konami sort of sat out a lot of game development because they're more interested in pachinko parlors and stuff. So maybe they are trying to get back into it, and this is their way of saying, don't forget about us, guys, even though we don't fucking have anything to show anyway. Okay, new releases this week. So it's the start of the month, which means both PlayStation Plus and Games with Gold have games available. So PlayStation Plus has Wreckfest, Battlefield 5, and Stranded Deep. Wreckfest, I think, is like new. I think it's coming out this month, so it's just free now. Wreckfest is like the old Destruction Derby games. Destruction Derby, whatever way you say it, where you could like modify your car to have extra armor and guns and shit. Does it even have guns? No, it's just like, it's a full-on like Destruction Derby kind of thing. Battlefield 5, I'm sure at this point you know what Battlefield 5 is. It's a military World War II shooter online thing, whatever. And Stranded Deep looks a lot like Subnautica, but probably something similar without the spacefaring stuff. Yeah, that's what that is. Games with Gold. Games with Gold has a couple of games. They don't have a nice graphic here, they just have the video. But you've got Armello, which is a kind of board game type thing. You've got Tropico, which is it's like a city sim, but it's kind of comedy based. Are they going to show any of the game? That's Armello. I think it's a kind of board game type deal with fun characters. Dungeons is like a D&D dungeon crawl kind of thing. No, it's not. It's a dungeon keeper type thing. Okay, fair enough. I honestly don't know much about any of these games. Lego Batman is Lego Batman. I'm sure you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting here. If you played any Lego game, it's just that, but Batman. And then Tropico is a city sim, but with like funny shenanigans and stuff. Brand new releases. Returnal, as I mentioned. Mute. I can't have that playing in my head. Returnal, as I mentioned earlier, is a roguelike third-person over-the-shoulder shooter from Housemarque. Housemarque, typically known for arcade bullet hell style games. This trailer, I think, is just story stuff, because I don't think it actually shows any gunny shooty shoot bits. Alright, so bullet hell things is basically bullets fill the screen, and you need to find a spot to stand while you can still shoot back. Apparently it's really fucking hard. I haven't played it myself. You can see beside us that I don't know which side of the screen it's on. It's my intention to give this a shot and put some video up on the channel. I really like Housemarque's games. They don't typically fare well, just because they had that kind of niche of being bullet hell arcade shooters that have a particular person who likes playing them, i.e. me, but I don't like playing them enough to actually finish them. I play them enough until it gets too hard and then I stop playing. I guess we'll see how that goes here. And then elsewhere, on Nintendo Switch, new Pokemon Snap. The game is actually called New Pokemon Snap, which question is, if they bring out another one, do they call it New Pokemon Snap, or do they change the name of this one to Old Pokemon Snap? I don't know. Anyway, if you're not familiar with Pokemon Snap, the old 64 maybe, GameCube, somewhere around there, where there's Pokemon out in their like natural environment and you take pictures of them. That's kind of it. You get them to do some fun stuff by smacking them in the face with apples. You might have like different criteria to catch them eating or catch them socializing or something like that. Some of them are like in little niche areas that you need to be in a particular angle to find them. Game is typically on rails, so you just start off, you're dragged through the area and you just need to pick out the Pokemon or whatever. It's super chill, particularly if you really like Pokemon. Just get to see them acting out the way that you would think they would if they were actually real, that kind of thing. Should be interesting. I don't think there's obviously not a ton of gameplay to it. It's just sit there and take pictures, but it's chill. Okay, now the part of the show that everybody loves, the part where we get, or I at least get, unreasonably angry at the industry that makes the things I like and I wish they weren't so shit. Industry bullshit. Okay, leaked documents show EA really wants you to buy FIFA loot boxes. Now, is that a surprise? No. Of course they want you to. The FIFA loot boxes are like EA's They're like makes a quarter of their profits, quarter of their revenue is just fucking FIFA Ultimate Team. The article here from Kotaku by Ari Notice, who knows? Just kind of points out, if you don't know, this is what FIFA Ultimate Team packs are. They're like the old sticker packs for football. They're blind boxes, basically. You buy them and you get random shit out of it. Goes on to highlight some of the problems the EA have had. Belgium outright deemed loot boxes illegal. The Netherlands Gambling Authority fines EA lots and lots of money over FIFA's microtransactions, although that's probably a fucking drop in the bucket for EA. EA has not recently, it's been a while now, 2019, called loot boxes surprise mechanics and quite ethical and quite fun. That's what I'm gonna call my product, quite ethical and quite fun. I mean, yeah, probably, or not, but still, you know, there's a problem when you need to specifically say your product is ethical. I think that's a problem. There's a quote, not a quote, but like a reference to Peter Moore, former head of EA's sport division. Is there anything he hasn't destroyed? Anyway, points to the staggering profits generated by Ultimate Team as proof that players love them. That's like, the fact that something makes a lot of money doesn't mean people like them. Like, fucking rent makes people a lot of money. I don't fucking like paying it. It's like, that's not in and of itself a direct thing. So this is a report that was leaked by an EA insider who wished to remain anonymous. So, like, fine, sure, but it's kind of better for these things if you do put your name out there. But sure, they want to protect their career. Players will be actively messaged and incentivized to convert throughout the summer. FIFA Ultimate Team is the cornerstone, and we are doing everything we can to drive players there. Updated FIFA Ultimate Team welcome pack content to kickstart experience so new players can hit the ground running. I.e., the first taste is free. You know, it's like an old drug dealer thing, an old gambling thing. It's why gambling sites give you credit just for signing up. It's so they get you in playing, and then you'll want to keep playing because now they have you hooked. Maybe. You might have the willpower to say fuck you. But on the other hand, you might also have actual gambling addiction, and these free credits are just like ways to draw you in, and that is not quite ethical or quite fun. There's some earning calls. EA said they made $4 billion in revenue from live services. Live services is pretty much microtransactions, subscription models, that kind of thing. Although I don't think EA has a subscription model at the moment. I think they probably wanted to with Anthem, but that didn't quite happen. It's just, you buy the game for whatever it is, €60, $60, $59.99, $69.99, $79.99 when you go into PS5 and Xbox Series. And then on top of that, there's just more shit shoveled on you. FIFA Ultimate Team is responsible for more. Okay, it's more than a quarter of EA's net revenue. What the fuck? EA PR basically came back to respond to this later on to say, we do not push people to spend in our games. Where we provide that choice, fuck you, we are very careful not to promote spending over earning in the game. And the majority of FIFA players never spend money on in-game items. Right, that's why you're trying to push them to it. That's why you're doing this. They haven't actively started doing it. It's throughout the summer. Summer's only just started. They haven't actually done it yet. So we do not push people right now. We're going to, but we don't do it right now. Nothing in the leaked document contradicts this in any way. Yeah, I know, because you haven't done it yet. We're waiting. It shows how we are supporting engagement in our game during the summer period, not spending. Hang on, we'll get. Actually, did I leave that story in? No, I took that story out. There was a story also that EA have started selling their cosmetics stuff you get in the foot packs. They started selling them just on their own, so you're not getting them through loot boxes, but they are like crazy expensive, like way too expensive. And in that sense, you can push people who want the cosmetic to go for the pack instead of the thing itself, just because you've overpriced it so much that they'll think, I might get it in the pack. Maybe. It's cheaper. Maybe I'll get it in the pack. This is how blind boxes work as well. If you want a specific thing from the blind box, you can buy it. Sometimes. Actually, most of the time you can't. Because they want you to buy the blind box. Most of the time you can't do it, but sometimes you can buy it. And when you can, it's way more expensive. Because they want you to buy into the blind box thing and just keep buying the blind box until you get the thing you want. It's shitty practice, and it has already been pointed out in Belgium, in the Netherlands, in the UK, where they were doing something similar. This is where I think this is where surprise mechanics came from. It was in the UK at some point. Maybe it was the US, not sure. It's a shitty practice. They know what they're doing. It's where was it? It's more than a quarter of their net revenue. Of course they're pushing people to this. Of course they're going to be underhanded about it. They want to make that more than a quarter to be more than a third, more than half. If it comes more than half, you should probably be a little concerned about it. Maybe don't put all your eggs in one basket. But I mean, like, of course they're going to push it. It makes them so much money. Anyway, Riot Games are back. Remember that guy with the shit-eating grin for sexual harassment who said it wasn't a toxic workplace, and it clearly was a toxic workplace? Anyway, more shit is happening. So, a fan project called Chrono Shift, which was making a legacy version of the game, announced it has been sent a series of Discord messages from a Riot Games representative requesting that the project be shut down. This employee called Riot Zed. Zed's dead, baby. Making a series of comments that wouldn't be out of place in a mob movie like Goodfellas. So, a member of Chrono Shift took to Reddit to share a screenshot of the Discord conversation. It's here. Read it. There's some fucking bullshit in it. They've taken some choice quotes out of here, but the whole thing itself just reads like, what a shithead. This Riot representative is Zed. Riot's legal team wanted the project shut down. Of course, they own the IP. You've obviously put a lot of work into Chrono Shift, but I can assure you Chrono Break is coming. What the fuck? I'm on the security team, I find people and things, so it's like not even veiled threats, like open threats of, you know, script kiddie scare tactics of I can hack you and give you a virus type thing. Like it's almost that level of shit. Zed demanded the developer hand over the Chrono Shift website and source code, along with details about communications between dev team members, threatening legal action if the developer didn't comply. Okay, if they actually go to court about it, they are entitled to that information because it allows them to determine how much of the IP was infringed upon, that kind of thing. But getting it outright, no, you're not. You're not entitled to it unless you are going to take them to court. This didn't go down well with the Chrono Shift project. Instead of opening a conversation about the future and interest in this kind of project, they attempted what could be seen as an attempt to take advantage of. They attempted what could be seen as an attempt. But did they do it or not? Anyway, to take advantage of our work for free and start taking legal action against us. That's not quite the case. And he's saying that because they wanted the source code that they were going to make it themselves. No, they kind of need it for legal reasons. To our best knowledge and the assessment of the lawyers specialized in IT copyright, hang on, that was really weird. To our best knowledge and the assessment of the lawyers specialized in IT copyright, we talked the project over with. We have not done anything illegal. You have. You've infringed their IP. You need to fire those lawyers. This project has always been about the preservation of the early sessions of the game that cannot be experienced anymore, that people still express a lot of interest in to this day. Remember when we were talking about game preservation and online games not really allowing it? It ends up with shit like this. It ends up with like vanilla World of Warcraft servers, like that kind of thing. People want the thing that they remember. They want to be able to go back to the start of it and play it that way. They don't want the extra stuff on top of it that they might feel has diluted the game or whatever. Are they entitled to it? No, because it's IP. At the end of the day, it's the IP owner's decision to do it. But should it be made available? Yeah, it should. Like, just from a historical standpoint, from an archival standpoint, from a providential standpoint, that you can track the progress of the game over time. If you jumped into League of Legends now, you wouldn't be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to see the way it was at the beginning, which is disappointing. Riot has now officially confirmed the legitimacy of the shutdown request. So Riot basically came back to say, yeah, this guy does work for us. So it's not just some shithead, which isn't great. Legal guidelines which prohibits the creation of any unauthorized games or apps that make use of Riot IP. So it's part of their legal framework and their end user license agreement and stuff like that. You can't infringe on copyright. Like, it's part of it. You can't make your own thing and have like recognizable IP characters in there. You're not allowed to do it. Is there an argument that there should be a carve out for archival things? Yeah, there really should, but technically, legally, it's not there. Regarding the exchange with Riot Z, we're disappointed with the tenor of the conversation and we'll be addressing this internally. The tenor? The content? The content's a bit worse than the tenor, but okay. We often attempt good faith reach outs, this wasn't good faith, prior to issuing legal documentation. In this case, however, given the Chrono Shift team's response, given your shithead's response, we have proceeded through a more formal channel. So yeah, it's gone to court. And there was a Twitter tweet, sure, from Chrono Shift that makes it seem like the project's probably dead. This is Riot's legal team responding to the idea that they wanted the source code so they can make it themselves. This is just them saying, this is a standard demand made to all developers engaged in unauthorized activity in order to assist Riot's security team to understand the precise nature of the project, the manner by which it infringes Riot's intellectual property and other rights, and the extent to which the code has been shared or disseminated online. This is them just protecting their IP and their assets. Like, if it does go to court, which it seems like it has, you have to give them that. Like, you can hold on to it if you want, but the judge will declare that you have to give it to them. So that's all that is. So yeah, fan projects in general will always run up against the you don't own the IP, you can't do this, you're not allowed, legally you're not allowed. You'll always have, sorry, someone messaged me. You'll always have the idea that these fan projects should be allowed in the sense that they are what's the word? I can't think of the word, but it hits. It doesn't quite hit fair use, but there is an argument to be made that from an archival standpoint, from a preservationist standpoint, they should be allowed, but legally, right now, as the law stands on copyright, it's not allowed. Should it be changed? I think it should, but whatever. I'm just some dude on the internet. Okay, staying with Riot. Valorant will start recording. Is this Riot Games? I think Riot own Valorant. Anyway, Valorant will start recording voice chat to tackle hate speech. So, Riot are going to begin to record party chat. So they will take action against players who use voice comms to harass others, use hate speech, or otherwise disrupt your experience. And on the terms that this could be an invasion of privacy, even though it's public chat, but whatever. If you prefer to not have your voice chat captured, turn voice chat off. Okay. That's a hard line there, but sure. So basically what they're saying is they're recording your voice chat, but they're not recording like all the time, or rather they're not storing it. Like there's probably a policy where they keep it for 24 hours and then they get rid of it for various reasons, privacy one of them, but also just sheer storage. They don't want to have to keep the servers up to actually hold all of these things. Basically what they're saying is they won't be listening to it actively. There's something about that here. Yeah, Riot won't be actively listening, only potentially listen to and review voice logs when disruptive voice behavior is reported. So this is kind of how the new audio social spaces work, like Clubhouse, like Spaces, whatever fuck Instagram, Facebook call it. That kind of thing, in that they do record the whole thing, but they don't hang on to it for very long. They kind of get rid of it almost immediately, unless you report it. And then they do hang on to it. They hang on to it long enough for them to actually check it out to see if there's any violation or whatever. So, if you want if you are or feel like you have been subjected to harassment or abuse or hate speech or whatever, not just for Valorant, or as it says here, a Riot-wide policy, like this actually applies to every game now. They're bringing it into Valorant or making it obvious in Valorant, but eventually it'll hit other games like League of Legends and whatever their other games are. I don't know what they are. But if you are subjected to harassment or hate speech or whatever thing you think you need to make a complaint about, do it immediately. Because the voice logs aren't held onto for very long unless you make a complaint. And that goes for Clubhouse, Spaces, Instant Voice, whatever the fuck it's called, I don't know. You should look at that. But the author here does make a point. Graham Smith makes a point here that Riot need to do some work to moderate the text chat of their own staff. Because of the last story that we had, where Riot Z was a massive shit to those guys. Do read this. Do read this, because it's fucking terrible. Okay, ugh. The Last of Us 3. Sorry. Anytime I see anything about The Last of Us, I just go, ugh. Anyway, The Last of Us 3 has a story outline Neil Druckmann hopes will one day see the light of day. So, is this really news? No. Obviously, there's going to be more. Obviously, there's going to be like an outline. It even goes in to say that it's an outline. It's not the full story. It's not a script. It's not storyboarded. Nothing like that. I'm just bringing it up because of last week's story where Naughty Dog said they decide what they work on, and they don't want to work on endless sequels, despite them churning out endless Uncharted sequels, and now The Last of Us 3. Like, make up your mind, guys. Make up your mind. Do you decide what you want to work on, or do you not want to work on endless sequels, or what? What? Which is it? Okay, now every single Activision studio works on Call of Duty. Okay, so this is news that Toys for Bob, who are the guys behind the latest Crash Bandicoot 4, have been moved to support Call of Duty instead. Which Zach Juizen here for Kotaku points out now that every directly owned studio now works on Call of Duty. Every studio owned directly by Activision works on Call of Duty. Now, diversify your portfolio, Activision. What the fuck? Ties for Bob? I mean, Bob could probably use some ties as well, but I'm sure you could use some toys too. Toys for Bob is working on Warzone content. Raven Software is supporting COD since 2010. Activision Shanghai is on Call of Duty Online. Demonware, to be honest, Demonware don't make games. They're like a multiplayer support thing. So they're not surprising. Former Transformers dev, High Moon Studios, Call of Duty. Beanox, Call of Duty. Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Sledgehammer, Call of Duty. Like, come on! Let them make something else, for fuck's sake. There's a point here that even Blizzard have been pulled in to do COD. They're only doing support stuff. They sell it on the Blizzard store for some reason, even though they don't actively work on it. King, the mobile game shitheads, are also working on a Call of Duty game. There has been a Call of Duty mobile game, but it wasn't by King. So Zach is just kind of pointing out that you see all of these developers who've made some really good games, like Raven Software made Heretic, they made the Jedi Knight series, they did the original Marvel Ultimate Alliance. They're good games. Well, okay, they're okay games, and some of them are good. The Jedi Knight stuff is good. And it's like, let them work on something else. Like, stop fucking going down the COD hole. Is it even that good? The Call of Duty salt mines, as Zach puts it. It's hard to watch as talented as part of successful and long-running studios get sent to the Call of Duty salt mines unable to make anything unique or new. Yeah, it is. It's really hard. There's numerous reasons why I'm not a big fan of Activision. Of course, with Activision and its obscenely rich CEO, we'll get to that in a minute, sticking around as a Call of Duty support studio is often the best case scenario. The likely alternative is your studio is shut down, or absorbed into another studio, leading to massive layoffs. This happened to Neversoft, RIP, Grey Matter, RIP, Bizarre Creations, RIP, and I've never heard of Shabba Games. And losing Neversoft was a big blow. That fucking sucked. There was other news here that Toys for Bob employees confirmed a layoff after the recent release of Crash 4. So, hey, we made this new game, critically well received, people really like it, you're fired. Just fuck you, Activision, just fuck you. It seems when Activision buys up a new studio, an invisible timer starts, counting down the days until the new studio is either kicked overboard to die or gets lucky and lands on Call of Duty Island, destined to work on military man shoots until the heat death of the universe. Okay. There's a later update here. Activision came back to say there were no layoffs at Toys for Bob. They are both supporting Crash Bandicoot 4 and also working on Call of Duty. Former Blake Malouf here, former designer on Toys of Bob, who has also left the developer. I want to clarify that no one was laid off at Toys for Bob. Anyone who has left has done so on good terms. However, this guy came back to say, everyone I interfaced with and worked along was let go. So this is kind of a semantics kind of thing, in that they were part of an external art team, so not directly employed by Activision. So technically they weren't let go because they never actually worked there. But either way, they're out of work. No matter what way you want to look at it. Anyway, sticking with ActiBliz CEO Bobby Kotick halves pay, still fucking obscenely rich. Right, so salary reduction is to 875 grand a year, down from 1.75 million a year. Annual bonus cut, potentially the same amount for this year and next year. All of this comes as Activision Blizzard extends Kotick's employment through March 31st, 2023. So there were stories maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, and further back, that the board and certain investment groups weren't happy with the just sheer amount of money he was being paid for basically sitting on his ass doing nothing, because what else? He's not fucking developing the games. He's not in marketing. He's rarely out there. He's never out there on PR stuff. Like, the fuck does he do anyway? The board worked with the company and established a pay program for the CEO that reflects shareholder feedback, incorporates market best practices, and continues to direct and connect pay to... What does he do? Connect pay to performance. Anyway, the article here from Riley McLeod points out this stuff I just mentioned there, where he's like... ire from company shareholders, from the CTW investment group pointing out he makes way too much money. Activision employees typically earn less than a third of 1% of the CEO's earnings. They make the fucking product and they get less than a third of 1%. Some earnings under 40k. Shit, I make under 40k. Meanwhile, the company has gone through several rounds of layoffs, losing hundreds of employees in 2019, followed by further layoffs. There's layoffs all the time in Activision. Why? They clearly have the money to pay for them. Like, maybe have them work on something that isn't Call of Duty. Kotick apparently was talking about something, or was actually seen in public speaking for once. Anyway, pointing out... he spoke about the layoffs and then touting that there's 2,500 possible openings. Yeah, I know, because you keep fucking firing everybody. Over the next 3 years, I think that you'll see the company will be very challenged to hire the thousands of additional people that you wouldn't if you'd fucking not fired anybody, that we will need to just meet our production schedules and production plans that we have in place today. You don't pay people well enough, clearly. And then when you actually do get people who want to stick around, you fire them. I'm sure you are going to struggle to hire people to fit your fucking production schedule, you piece of shit. Alright, sticking with pieces of shit. CD Projekt execs get big bonuses despite messy Cyberpunk 2077 launch. 27... whatever. Okay, Cyberpunk 2077 had a particularly rocky launch. No shit. it was expected to make X amount of money, but it's based on pre-orders, based on hype, etc. Some analysts were expecting the game to perform better than this, and so were some of the game's developers. Some developers were expecting bigger bonuses than what they eventually received, and could have received more if the game had been delayed to launch in a better state. Developers did not have a say on when the game came out. Upper level management had a say on when that came out. CD Projekt executives, meanwhile, are still taking home some pretty enormous bonuses despite the messy launch, i.e., our fuck up of having the game launch before it was ready didn't affect us in any way. We still made a shit ton of money, but the developer, who could have stood to make a lot more money if they had waited, got fucked over. Just to stick with that for a second. A total of 29 or close to 30 million is being split between 800 employees, nearly 900 employees, averaging at 34k per employee. That's not quite how it broke down. Some employees are only receiving bonuses of 5 to 10k. Senior employees are getting something closer to 15 to 20k. However, 5 members of the executive board are receiving bonuses totaling 28 million. Somebody good at the budget help me here. Should we pay the people who make the product that makes us money, or should we pay the people who make shit decisions, end up making the company less money, but pay them better? Get money out of games, people. Also, this is why you get a union. Join a fucking union. Make a fucking union. There's some responses here from Adam Kaczynski, who is one of the executive board members. Is he co-owner? No, he's just a board member. We have results, we get bonuses, that's the contract we have. This is him responding to whether or not it was appropriate that the people who made the decision that fucked over everybody else ended up making shit tons of money and nobody else did. The gulf between executive and employee bonuses remains a wide one. So, if CD Projekt management had chosen to delay the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 until it was truly ready for release, the game's sales could have been even better, making a big difference for the developers at the lower end of the scale. It wouldn't have made a big difference for the board members. They would have gotten still an obscene amount of money. But the people down the lower end could have got, like, actual remuneration for their work. There is some talk that they are looking at, like, adjusting this profit sharing idea. Who knows? I find it unlikely that that's going to happen. And Emma here also makes reference to the Bobby Kotick story from the last section on him making, him taking a 50% pay cut but still making, what was it? It's less than a third of 1%. Now it's 1%, maybe? That's not how a half works, Eric. If it's less than a third, less than a half, maybe. Okay, anyway, maths. Move on. Okay, Tekken and Mortal Kombat pulled from controversial esports events. So both Bandai Namco and NetherRealm, Tekken and Mortal Kombat owners, word. That's what I was supposed to put it there. Respectively, that's the word. Have put out tweets basically saying, yeah, we're not working with WePlay anymore. They cite vague differences in vision and professional standards as the key impetus behind their decisions. So we're not really sure why they've decided not to work with WePlay anymore. WePlay are an esports organization that have only recently gotten into fighting games and started hosting pretty big money tournaments and competitions. However, people have become suspicious of a random cash-rich esports outfit suddenly taking an interest in fighting games. Some digging has found that WePlay also have some kind of public relationship with controversial gambling site 1xBet or One Time Bet, or I'm going to say it's one. I should probably just say it's 1xBet because I don't know if it's One Time Bet. But anyway, they're a bit shady. They're kind of a bit shady. They've previously partnered with Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, various football clubs in the UK. The company was suspended from operating in the United Kingdom in 2019 after an investigation found them facilitating gambling on children's sports in Kenya advertising on illegal streaming sites, and promoting a so-called Pornhub casino with topless female dealers. Well, Paddy Power can't compete with that shit. Anyway, 1xBet's 3 alleged owners are also wanted by the investigative committee of the Russian Federation as of August 2020. So there's some shady shit happening with these guys. WePlay came back as a response to Namco Bandai and NetherRealm's Warner Brothers tweets or announcements, whatever. 1xBet has assured us that the brand abides by all the relevant laws and regulations in every jurisdiction in which it operates until it gets kicked out. Until the company gets suspended from operating in that country, I guess. Anyway, WePlay had their own tweet / announcement on response letter, whatever. Kotaku has reached out to everybody, but there was no response at time of publishing. It's still unclear exactly why Bandai Namco and NetherRealm Studios pulled their games from WePlay competitions. However, most people connected with esports, players, watchers, why can't I think of the word? As soon as the camera is on, I lose my vocabulary. What the fuck is the name? What the fuck is the word you use for people who sit in the stadium and watch the damn thing? Anyway, those people and other people around social media, pretty sure it's because of the 1xBet thing. And last story for our industry bullshit. It is time once again to shit on Google Stadia. Google Stadia adds search bar. It's like, how are you only? It's like 2 years later, nearly 3 years later, you finally added a search bar. So this is by Ash Parrish, who points out, Google, the company that literally began as a search engine, finally realized its video game platform could use a search function. Very good. Part of Stadia's announcement, it will make finding your favorite games much easier. You'll find them much easier on another service. To be honest, people had been finding games just by fucking scrolling, I guess. I don't think there's in any alphabetical order or anything like that. I imagine the number of games available is probably so short that you could probably easily scroll it. Maybe that's why they felt they didn't need a search bar, because it all fit on one page. They've also added some other things where they have like an activity feed. You can share screenshots, gameplay, just in case you want to see what the other 7 Stadia users are playing. Burn. On why it has taken them so long to just get a search thing in. Was it simply forgotten like all the game studios Google bought then discarded? The burns continue. Anyway, yeah. Google Stadia has a search bar now. Fucking idiots. Right. Okay, we'll finish off with some dumb stuff. So the Noid, may or may not be familiar with the Noid, is back to fight Crash Bandicoot and self-driving cars. So the Noid, if you're not familiar, is a fairly old Domino's Pizza mascot, I guess. He's sort of like an antagonist. He's a bit like the Hamburglar for McDonald's, in that he tries to steal pizzas and make you not have fun eating Domino's pizzas. The Noid fell out of fashion around the same time a man in 1989 held Domino's employees hostage, seemingly over his anger about the character. His character is so fucking annoying. I need to hold everybody at knife point. Knife point? Where did I get knife from? No, there's nothing about a knife there. Oh, right. I know now. There's also a story about a Genshin Impact player who was holding developers at knife point. I didn't put the story in because there's no real information about it. Anyway, back to dumb stuff. Don't let that back in. There's a crossover event with the Crash Runner game on mobile where the Noid is showing up. He's some kind of boss-like character, and beating him gets you pizza fucking cosmetics for Crash or something like that. The article goes on further to see other parts where the Noid is coming back into Domino's marketing and stuff, where it will be attacking self-driving robot pizza delivery cars, and this is being seen as a bad thing. Kind of feel like it's a good thing. Like, as it said here, I see it as a lone hero standing up against a giant evil corporation that is looking to use robots and AI to get rid of jobs that thousands of people rely on to survive. That's right, the Noid, hero of the people. Anyway, okay, last thing. Resident Evil Village has a puppet show. It's all in Japanese, so I mean, you can watch the video if you want, skip ahead. You watch the video if you want, the subtitles are all in Japanese, the voice work is all in Japanese. It's very cute and very funny, and very... I don't know if you can say if it's not safe for work, because I don't know what they're saying, but it's quite cute and quite violent. I wonder if we get to the part where she accidentally knocks into the... Yeah, so she'll fall in and she lands on the chainsaw. And blood everywhere. It's pretty funny. Anyway, that was the news for 26th April to 2nd of May. Lots of game updates, some delays, some new releases, stuff like that. You can see on the side of the screen that I have intention to play a bit of Returnal and a bit of new Pokemon Snap, as well as actually record some Final Fantasy 14 stuff, which I haven't done yet. And eventually get my Games of February out. I have enough footage now from Persona 5. I've played enough of the game further on, or Persona 5 Scramble I should say, Strikers, that I feel pretty good about writing up a script and saying some stuff about the game. It's a lot of fun, as well as the other games that will be in February. What other fucking games did I play? Monster Hunter, 2 other games, Little Nightmares, and 4th game. Obviously left a very good impression on me. It probably turned out to be a really good game and I just can't think of it. Anyway, that was the news. 26th to 2nd of May. Hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you thought. Lots of executives making far too much money, and the people who actually make the product making no money. They should really, really look into unions. Anyway, see you guys next time.